your host, Rick Collins.
Hi, welcome to Chattered. I'm your host, Rick Collins. And today on episode 8, we have a very special guest, a San Gabriel Valley legend. Speaking of the drummer from the band Oingo Boingo, Johnny Vatos. So we have Johnny Vatos on the show today. I think you're really going to like this interview. Covers a lot of ground, the history of Oingo Boingo. His history was pretty interesting, that he actually went to Vietnam during the Vietnam War and performed. So he'll tell you that story. Also, the various bands that he's been in post Boingo, and some really cool stories with some of the movies that they were in. Oingo Boingo was in several movies: Weird Science, Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield. So it was a really fun conversation. I was very happy to have him on. I've been trying to get him for a while, and luckily he's a local guy, and he goes to a jam night down the street here once in a while, and I got to meet up with him, and we had lunch. It's a lovely guy, really cool guy. This episode was a little bit somber, though. So this was recorded on the 6th, April 6th, 2025. And right before I was going to go in to interview Johnny, my buddy Paul Kampf texted me and told me that another legendary drummer, Clem Burke from Blondie, had passed away. He also played with the Eurythmics. He was in the Ramones for a short time. I mean, he's played with a lot of bands. And he was also a really cool local guy in LA that even when Blondie's playing these huge places and like the Cruel World Festival or Madison Square Garden, he would play here at local venues with his various bands that he had, the International Swingers, the Empty Hearts, to name a few. He was a really cool guy. We had a band, a really short-lived band that Rodney Bingenheimer actually put together called the Glitter Critters, and Rodney had said that he would really have liked to see a band with, well, in his voice, he's like, I'd love to see a band with like Clem Burke, you on bass, Krista from the Woolly Bandits on vocals, and Kevin Preston from Prima Donna. So that was like his little dream lineup. And Kevin actually is now playing with Green Day and is actually playing Coachella today. Hopefully we're going to have him on the show as well. But I digress. Rodney put the band together and we recorded 3 tracks. One Christmas song, which was called Little Drummer Boy, and we kind of Ramones punked it up. Came out really great, and that came out on Rodney's Christmas compilation a few years ago on Gearhead Records. And then there's 2 songs that are unreleased that I'm in talks with the label with right now that I think we're going to release. But getting that news right before I was going to walk in the room and interview Johnny was rough. It just hit me hard. I didn't know that he was sick, and I mentioned it at the beginning of the interview, so I wanted to explain that to you. When you hear the interview, you might be confused. It had not been public yet, but since we were taping it, I felt it was okay to bring it up. They went public the next day. But I dedicate this episode to Clem, and our heart is with his family and his friends and all his fans. He was a very loved guy. I'm sure you all saw the tributes to him all over social media and in the media, regular media. Yeah, that was a rough one. But let's get on with it. Johnny Vatos from Oingo Boingo on Chattered, episode 8. Remember to like and subscribe on your podcast. If you're listening on podcasts platform or on the YouTube, we really appreciate if you can do that. And check out our other episodes too. There's some really good ones. We're starting to build these up and get more and more. Have some great guests coming in. All right, signing off. Enjoy. Get chattered.
This is Chattered.
Hey, Johnny, thanks for being on Chattered. I really appreciate you coming in.
Oh, thank you, man.
And coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it. I haven't said anything about this yet because it hasn't been public, and but I'm a little down right now because my friend, I'm pretty kind of emotional about this because I just found out that Clem Burke passed away. And he was a good friend, and we had a band together. I just got a text message. It's not on the news yet, and they told me not to say anything. But since we're recording this, I just wanted to bring that up. 'Cause I'm sure you probably knew Clem, right?
I've met him.
Yeah.
I didn't know him well.
Yeah, he was like, guy that he played in all these bands.
Right.
He'd be playing with Blondie at these big festivals.
Sure.
He played down the street at the Rancho, and he played, all over the place in little smaller bands. Like he just wanted to play all the time.
Yeah.
So I just found that out, and
that's sad news.
so this is dedicated to Clem. And but let's get on with I wanted to talk to you a little bit first in the beginning about when you first started. Were you in because the Boingo started in 77, right?
No, didn't start till 80. Back in 77, 78, it was the Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
So I was, I had just left the Helen Reddy gig in the 70s. And I was coming into town, and I was working with Steve Bartek. And then I did the show with Tony Basil, and Danny and Steve came down, and they found me, and they go, "Oh, you want to be in this band?" I go, "Yeah." That was about 78. Mm-hmm. I said, "Okay, well, what's it about?" "Oh, it's the Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo." "Oh, I've seen you guys. He goes, "Well, we'd have costume changes and all that." "Perfect. That's exactly what I want to do." So back then, we were a theatrical group back in the 70s. So Oingo Boingo, what happened was, so we're a theatrical group. We're doing all this blah, blah, blah. Nederlander came up to us and offered us $1.5 million to go off Broadway and do the Mystic Nights show. Mm-hmm. And Danny said, no. Carrying the props and all that stuff, I'm done with it. I don't want to do it anymore. And here was the other thing. There was a band that sent us a letter from Northern California called the Mystic Nights, and they were a funk band. And they said, "Look, we've had that name first, and if you give us $750 for a new PA, we'll let you have the name." So Danny wrote them back, "I'm not giving you a penny. We're just not going to use the name anymore."
Yeah.
So we came to rehearsal. He goes, "Now we're going to be Oingo Boingo." And I go, "What's Oingo Boingo?" He goes, "It's just a rock band." I go, "Oh, but I've been in rock bands. I've been on TV shows. I don't want to be in a rock band." Yeah. He goes, "Well, that's what we are." I go, "Okay." So from day one, throughout the history of the band, I was never a dull moment. I was obnoxious and was rude, and we're all really fast learners. And Danny would write and write and write. As much as he writes movie music, there's like maybe 100 songs people have never even heard that we just kind of learn it. "Oh, that's not good."
Wow.
That doesn't work.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so we started in the 80s. Long story short.
I was wondering if you were in the Mystic Nights of the Mountain.
Yeah.
And then you guys did, I have a quick question about the Forbidden Zone movie.
Yeah.
That's a classic. I still play that for people once in a while.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to you about playing with Steve Bartek.
Yeah.
Steve Bartek hired me to play on the soundtrack to Forbidden Zone.
Oh, okay.
And I was just a side musician. I wasn't even in the band. No, I was just, okay, if anybody can pull this off, it's going to be John, because they had pre-recorded all the vocals before, so they erased the orchestra. There was no click. They had to make a hand click that sped up and slowed down and moved and went all over the place.
Wow.
So not only did I have to read the music, I had to speed up and slow down and move and which is a pain in the neck, but that's why I got hired, and that's when I first worked for Steve and Danny.
Yeah, that was cool. That music was really cool. That was a really warped movie.
It was warped. I loved it.
You had a tattoo in the movie.
Yeah.
The plane tattoo.
Although I still use those lines. I would look at my wife and go, don't you ever do that. Don't you ever go into the Forbidden Zone. You just stay out of there, Frenchie. Don't you ever go in there.
Highly recommend the movie. You all should check it out. And it was directed and written by Danny's brother, right?
Yeah. Rick, yeah.
But we were talking when we were hanging out with Joe at JD's, and you were telling me prior when you were younger. I was a fascinating story. If you mind telling about when you went to Vietnam.
Right. That was.
And you were like a teenager, right?
I was like in high school, and I had done a couple of sessions with this guy, and he goes, our drummer just canceled, and we need a drummer to go on a USO tour to Vietnam. And I said, well, I have to get permission from my mom. I was 17 years old. I just graduated high school. And so here I was 17 traveling with Miss Tulsa, Oklahoma, and this big 6'6" black gospel singer and a piano trio. And there were kids there my age. I was in a war zone looking at kids my age, 17, 18, 19, holding guns, sitting in the dirt, looking at me, and I'm waving, going, "Hi, everybody, how you doing? We're here to make music."
Wow.
It was it was an experience that changed my life,
Yeah. Did you have any close calls?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, the first.
This is the height of the war.
This is the height of the occupancy. In the summer of '69, we had the most military people there, and we were going from we played a fire support base, which is about a mile away from the DMZ in the far north. And so we're flying in helicopters, and I look out, and all I see is just blank land, just dirt. I go, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, that's the DMZ." I said, "I bet you can see them coming when they attack." He goes, "No, there's just tunnels underneath all of it."
Wow.
So we land. This is the fire support base. We land, and sure enough, I walk up to the stage. 4 rockets come in. And this Marine got me and threw me down and put his body over me. 4 more rockets came in. He goes, "They come in patterns of 4. Get up and run to the bunker." Whoa. And as I'm running to the bunker, I look up and I see this old 50s helicopter with Johnny Grant. He was the mayor of Hollywood, and all these chicks. And they're coming down, and the rocket blew up the pad right underneath the helicopter, and the helicopter moved like a bad 50s movie like this, shook, and then flew off.
Whoa.
And I saw Johnny Grant and the girls back at the Meyercord Hotel, which was downtown Saigon. I saw them afterwards. Wow. I go, "Man, you just made it." He goes, "Yeah, good thing I had the girls with me." That's what he said. Couldn't believe it.
What a cool guy.
Vietnam,
That's
yeah.
so wild being at that age and going there.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
How did you even get invited out there? What was that for, the USO or something? Or?
No, it was friends of mine were already going on a USO tour, and they were older. I always played with older musicians. When I was 17, 16, I was always playing with guys that were 35, 40 years old. Because I could read, I could play jazz, swing, and I could play rock and Latin and funk, and I was like Mr. Do-It-All.
Yeah.
So I was pretty lucky.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So then when you went into Boingo and you're doing that, and then you guys basically stopped in, what was it, 94?
95.
95.
Yeah.
That was the famous, I remember the show you did here in L.A.
Yeah.
The farewell show and all that. And then you guys were always playing Halloween.
Right.
And that was amazing.
Yeah.
But aren't you doing it now, right? You're doing your own version.
Well, we've been doing it now for almost 15, almost 20 years.
Wow.
And we only play twice a year, which is pretty reminiscent of Oingo Boingo as it was, because Charlie Uncless, our lighting man and art director and all-around great guy that worked with a band called Danny the Reluctant Rock Star, because we would do an album and go out for 6 weeks and then not go out again for another 2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So because he didn't like to tour. So I don't want to go out. But the way you build it up is the way the Chili Peppers do. You go in, they think you're incredible. You go back 3 months later, you sell out, and you go out 3 months later, and you can't even get a ticket.
Right.
But we never did that progression. So it's really cool. I never got sick of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool.
It didn't beat it out of me.
And you don't have to ask Danny or get permission to play the songs or anything.
Well, yeah, I do. I've had to deal with lawyers.
Oh, wow.
He's not happy about it.
Oh.
He was not happy about it. But I'm out on the street, and I cannot walk around Southern California without somebody tapping me on the shoulder going, when are you going to play again? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the reason I got back and started doing it.
Yeah. I mean, the band is widely beloved, you know, especially here in Los Angeles. Did you grow up out here in the? Do you live in the SGV?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm here. I rode my bike right past the street.
That's awesome.
I was in the high school honor band. And so it was three cities: Alhambra, San Gabriel, and Mark Keppel. Mm-hmm. And so I was involved with Alhambra musicians, and you know,
because there's always folklore around you. Like there'd be sightings of you.
Yeah,
Johnny Vatos was over at, you know, on Fair Oaks Avenue the other day. Like from Oingo Boingo. Yeah, he lives around here somewhere. He must live around here.
Yeah,
and it's always with the mohawk. You know, everybody would recognize you.
I leave my hat on when I just want to walk around.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that movie was it Dusk Till Dawn with Tito? I love Tito, man. I love like his I used to love the plugs and all that stuff.
I love Tito.
Yeah, what's he up to? Like, you ever talk to him? He's kind of a mystery.
He's a mystery, and you know, we kind of hang out for a while, and then we go away, and then we hang out, and he calls me up. So we're just kind of in a lull at the moment. He's out on the road with another band, mm-hmm. and his daughter, Lolita. Mm-hmm. And they just started. You can find them.
Really? I got to check that out.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was playing. That's cool.
Yeah, they're good, you know.
That's cool. What was it like making that movie?
Oh, it was totally so much fun. It was 2.5 weeks of 20 topless chicks. So, you know, I'd come home from work, I'd be like, oh my God, you can't believe it. Because what happened is that when the movie was, there were always 20 topless chicks for 2 weeks. I went to lunch with them. There's a picture of me. They're all sitting in their brassieres, and I'm sitting in the middle of them. We're all eating lunch, and Robert Rodriguez goes, "I'd find Vatos right here." and then they go back to work. They take them off. But when the movie came out, it was too much for censors, so they had to go back and put suits on them digitally.
Really?
And so it wasn't until about 10 or 12 years later you can now see them with everybody. You can find them with a
I gotta find that.
You know, which was
Did you meet Salma Hayek?
Okay, and then so you know, porque yo estoy un mexicano, you know, and I'm a Mexican guy, and I generally don't date Mexican women, because I know so many of them, and all my relatives are a complete, illustration of everything that is good and bad about Latino women. So I never hung out with them too much.
Yeah, I agree.
And so anyway, we're here we are. It's we're going to dinner. Okay, we're all going to dinner. Great. Okay, let's go to the Mexican restaurant. Okay, great way. She's sitting over there, Robert Rodriguez, and Selma's sitting there, and nobody's sitting by her. I'm like, fuck. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I just sit down. And I'm sitting there, and she's sitting next to me, and everyone has their hand on their chin like this and just staring at her going, "Oh, Salma, why don't you do?" And "Oh, Salma." And they're all like, and she's going, "Oh, you know, when I talked to this director," and she was rattling like a cat, you know. Hey, well, you know, you've heard her on TV where she starts talking, she's real happy about stuff, and you know, it's like, and I'm sitting here trying to eat my Mexican food, you know, and first of all, I don't want to look at her, because what am I going to look at? Nice, you know. And so I don't want to stare. I don't want to make it real obvious and start drooling, you know. So I just kind of ignoring her, trying to eat. And so I got to go to the bathroom, and Tito told me the story. He goes, she asked, "Who's that guy? Why he's the only person here? He's ignoring me the whole time." Oh, that's Johnny Vatos. He's his own person. He's okay. Okay. Yeah, I had to ignore her. No, she was so beautiful. She's just stunning.
Yeah.
And then we were in
that scene's amazing in the movie.
Oh, she's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, every disgusting thing we could all say is yes. She's just that beautiful.
How did you get your nickname, by the way? Vatos, how did you get?
Well, because in 1980, when we became a band and we wanted to be these tough guys, Danny came to rehearsal and goes, okay, we're going to give ourselves nicknames. So he starts out, okay, you're going to be Stinky and you're going to be this. And I thought, oh, no. Some guy from West LA is not going to give me a stupid jackass name like that. So I said, I'm Johnny Vatos. He goes, okay, Johnny Vatos. Because in the Mystic Nights of the Oingo Boingo, I used to introduce a song. Vamos a tocar una canción ahí. Vamos a cantar una canción que toda la gente van a entender porque it's a song about cruising in the sixth dimension. We're going to play a song that everyone's going to understand because it's a song about cruising in the sixth dimension. So everybody would say, man, who's that crazy Vato playing drums, man? Who's that crazy Vato? So when I got my nickname, I said, I'm Johnny Vatos. I'm that crazy Vato that introduces the song.
Yeah, you always had a cool look with the wife beaters and everything. You played it up. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you know about, speaking of which, the US Festival, we talked about that a little bit. That must have been a trip.
Oh, that was...
For those of you who don't know, you should look it up. It's like probably one of, besides Woodstock and stuff, one of the biggest festivals, especially out here on the West Coast that ever, one of the first by Steve Wozniak put it on, of Apple fame. And you guys played, which is a classic video. You can find this on YouTube. We always watch it and pull it up. And that was when you had the full band.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really cool, like that whole setup.
Yeah.
I remember asking you how the sound was, and you said it was amazing.
It was just amazing because by the time they got to us, it was perfect, you know?
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
But you're saying, too, there was something that happened backstage?
Oh, let's see. All kinds of antics happened backstage. But you're probably referring to the story I told you about Joe Naimi from Wall of Voodoo.
Yeah.
And if you knew Joe, and Stan Ridgway will remember this story. And it was just so crazy. We're backstage, and it's all around catering, and it's a beautiful day. The sun is out, and there's this girl there doing a little hippie dance, and she's scantily dressed, and she's all tripping and following the trails in her hands, and oh, la, 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 la. And everyone's chuckling and giggling. Well, Joe took it upon himself to go grab a big plate of mashed potatoes and go over and give her a mashed potato pie in the face.
So messed up.
And she started crying and freaked out, and somebody saw it and called the bouncers, and they threw him out. They threw him out of the festival.
Wow. How was it playing in front of that many people? Were you was it like, that's the first time you probably had that experience, right?
It was over 250,000 people. And it was good for a while. And why I'm saying that is because what happens is it was dirt. And so 250,000 people all of a sudden hear like, the band's roaring, and they just start dancing. So the dust raised up, and then the dust covered their faces, and then I couldn't see further back, and then the dust blew in our face. So when you watch the video, by the end of the video, we all have dirt all over our face.
What a trip.
It was really cool.
Man, what a cool. Was there any bands that were playing that were standouts that you enjoyed, that you were like, oh, wow, it was great to see this band?
No, I generally didn't. I didn't go out and
watch other bands.
No. I have because playing. I just always try to stay as focused as I can. On the music that I'm doing.
Yeah, well, it's demanding too. That was what you were playing. You have to be focused. You were also telling me that that was one of the first times you used triggers, right? On your drums, or?
Well, no, that was later on.
Oh, later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you helped develop that with was Roland, was it?
Well, what happened was I with DW drums.
Oh, okay.
And DW drums has always been an innovator in stuff, and they have an electronic drum line that I was also working on with DW. So there's a great concert called Live at the Ritz. You can find it on YouTube, and I'm playing. What happened was the band was so large, it took so long to do sound check. We wanted to use the samples from the drums. So back then, everybody was burning chips. Wow. So you could actually take the studio sounds and put them in a chip and trigger them. So we developed a electronic bass drum pedal with a trigger, and then I used microphones inside of tom-toms. I developed a thing where you could use a microphone and play with more air, so it felt more natural to play. It wasn't like playing like a Simmons, which was like playing a tabletop. It was like, I hated those things. Yeah. And so I developed a thing with a microphone and a plastic head and a tom-tom. And so, yeah, there you go. And so I used it. It was pretty exciting, and it sounded really great. But we just did that for about a year or so. John Avila would always laugh. Danny go, give me more bass drum. And I go, hang on. I just turn a knob. Yo, you got more bass drum. You want more bass drum? I got more bass drum.
That's pretty cool. That's wild.
Yeah. So now, because of DW, all the advancements they made on electronic stuff, they found a new triggering way of triggering, part of that research and development that we did years before, and it became such a success that Roland bought the company just to have that.
Oh, really?
Just to have their electronic stuff.
Oh, what a trip.
Yeah, they didn't even care. Really, I don't think they cared much about the drums, but...
Do they leave them alone? Is they letting DW do what they want?
Yeah, so far they're just letting DW run, and I think that was part of the deal.
Right. And then, are you still with DW?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Do you get like new sets every once in a while?
You know, they give me anything I want, which is, I'm so fortunate, and I have quite a few sets. And just recently, I was flipping through YouTube, and I heard a mysterious wood combination of drums by DW. And I thought, I gotta have those. So I called them up, and they go, okay. So it was really nice of them. I'm waiting for another little bebop kit.
Oh, that's cool.
I like playing jazz, so
Is that your favorite music? If you had to choose one style of music, is that your favorite jazz to play?
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, you have to see Johnny play. I mean, he plays all over, but he'll various different places. We would do a jam night for Joe Rico, shout out, at JD's in Alhambra. And we were like, well, Johnny's going to be there. Whoa. So we had to go see you play.
Yeah.
It's a joy seeing you play when you're doing different styles, too.
Sure.
I like to see that, too. But you haven't, you also are singing, right?
Right.
So you have a new album?
Right. I'm singing, and I'm working on a bunch of tunes. Oh. And so it's I would normally be working with the singer with Oingo Boingo former members, but he's out on the road with his brother's band Singularity, and that's Bear McCrary. So they're out doing stuff. So I figured it was time for me to pull together a half dozen tunes. I've written a few, but I've demoed them, but never really done them. Mm-hmm. It's a great selection of tunes because music is such a healing part of and the goodness of what's still around and still so much fun, and still gives us, freedom to make comments and jab at the status quo and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got some really cool. I'm an eclectic guy, like you were saying. I grew up, playing an accordion big band. I played with Helen Reddy, Peter Allen, and all these. I've done all these.
Did you say you played with Tony Basil earlier?
Tony Basil.
Wow, she's amazing.
She was just amazing, boy. There was another one. I had to sell me. I couldn't even look at her. She's so hot. She was like.
I watch her Instagram now, and she's still beautiful and dances amazing still.
Yeah, I know.
She's really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. What did you do with her? Did she have her solo stuff?
No, she did a run at the Fox Venice Theater right when I left to Helen Reddy. In fact, I got a call to do that, and that's the show that Danny and Steve went to every show, all 4 shows. And they said, we got to get that guy. That's the best drummer right there. This guy's an animal.
Oh, okay. So that's where they saw you.
That's how I got the gig. Yeah.
What was that? Food for Feet.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and John Avila played in that band too, right?
Right.
So what was the story with that band?
What's that?
What was the story behind that band?
The story behind that band was John Avila and I played jazz together first. We would jam in my garage.
Yeah.
And then he had a band called Food for Feet. And so I went down to go see him at Madame Wong's. And he said, "Oh, our drummer's going to be leaving, so come on down, check it out." The band drummer was Phil something or other. He played with Tierra. I can't think of Phil's last name. Anyway, so I ended up joining the band, Food for Feet, and it was an amazing band. I played a solo every night. It was like a 3 whirlwinds. It was amazing. Mike, the guitar player, his uncle was an incredible jazz drummer, so he had this incredible sense of time.
Oh, cool.
And John's just an amazing monster, man.
Monster.
Monster. So when we
that's cool.
when we needed a bass player, I said, "Hey, Danny, I got the guy right here, John Avila. Steve Bartek, hey, we got the guy right here, John Avila." They look at me and go, "You're just the drummer. You're just a dumb drummer. No, you don't know. We know. No, I'm telling you, this guy's perfect." He said, "He's not right now. He's not there now, but once he gets in, he's such a musician. You're going to watch. It's going to be incredible." He goes, "No, that can't be. We're going to have auditions." I said, "What? We're going to have auditions?" I grew up in this town. That means every bass player I ever knew auditioned for this band. All of them. And they all resented me for not getting him the gig. We auditioned 5 guys a day for a month.
Wow.
And when we started auditioning, I said, "Look, you motherfuckers. If at the end of this thing, John Avila is standing right here and he's in this band, I'm going to fucking kick your ass." So, sure enough, we were sitting there, came down to 2 guys, and Danny had to look at Steve and go, "John's going to kick our ass." Oh, John's too good. And I said, "What did I tell you?"
Yeah.
He sings like a bird and he's a monster. And then when we got in the studio, it was kind of like he was really didn't know what to do, and it's kind of like being not as jumping in. I leaned into him. I go, "John, just make me sound good." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he just started kicking my ass. And ever since then, it's like, "Yeah, man, just make me sound good, John." And he kicks my ass. He's amazing.
Does he play with you in your Boingo band?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys still play together.
Yeah.
He's another guy that we see around playing, and it's a joy to see him. He played here in South Pasadena over here. I forgot the name of the Griffin.
The Griffin, yeah.
And man, it's just like, I'm like, we're so lucky. We get to see John Avila and people like you perform, and like, it's amazing for us.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
It really is.
Like we kind of forget who we are half the time.
Yeah. Well, you're real musicians, is what I get.
Yeah.
It's not like you guys were in. It doesn't feel, I may be wrong, that you're in it for the lifestyle and all that. I mean, I'm sure that you had some of that, but it's like we really are just musicians that want to play.
Yeah.
And you're real musicians, There's a big difference between some bands that just do it and go through the motions, doing the rock stuff or whatever. And Boingo was so unique because it wasn't just traditional punk or new wave or whatever you want to call it. It was its own thing.
Right.
That nobody sounded like Boingo. Nobody. So that's, it's just a thrill, to talk to you about these days and everything that went on.
Yeah, we would give each other crap all the time. When Danny started writing, he brought in stuff and I'd go, "This is not a song. This is 3 songs. This is a medley. You got 3 incredible ideas here. What are you doing with this? You're wasting 3 incredible ideas." But it should go into anything. So, we all beat each other up. Uh-huh. And everybody, if anybody had a beef with any of my drum parts, they could go, "John, that fill sucks. Don't do that there. Wait till here." And I go, "Okay." And everybody, that was the beauty of the band, because everybody communicated their nuts. Even Danny would go, "Oh, no, don't do that. Try that." Okay. And he'd have ideas, and sometimes they wouldn't work out. And,
Yeah.
It was a good thing, man. But everybody communicated their crap to each other.
I always wondered how the inner workings of the band went.
Yeah. And I was the cheerleader. I was like, yeah, that's why the Johnny Vatos, the Vato is the instigator in Chicano gang.
Yeah.
He's the guy that says, come on, guys, because I was always the guy that said, let's practice. Hey, we're either going to start practicing right now, I'm going to go home. They'd sit around, so I guess we should start now, or he's going to go home. You go, yeah, come on, we got to learn, we're working on some, let's go.
Yeah, you're cracking the whip.
I was a whip cracker.
When the band later on, the sound kind of changed towards the end. It got a little more like punky and like stripped down, like some of the members left.
Right.
And
Danny got tired of the horns.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys like punked it up towards the end.
Yeah, we had Aaron Fitzgerald.
Started having the slam
Vandals.
pits.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron was in the band?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So tell me more about the new tunes.
Oh, the new tunes. It's a great selection of tunes. I have a war tune, Eva Destruction, because from my 60s past, it's a 80s punk version, which is really kind of cool and fast. And then I have my little gospel tune that I was singing for you, which was the story of that is I played a gospel country convention in 1973, and I had never been to one. And I walk into the Dome in Nashville, and I look up, and there's this family up on stage, and they're called the Lewis family, and they're all dressed in their beehive haircuts, everything from the 70s, and I look up, and they go, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. John was just an ordinary man like you and me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they sang this song, and from the first time I heard it, I remembered all the lyrics to this song. It got embedded in my brain. So it's called I Wonder How It Felt to Baptize Jesus. It's an old country song from the 50s, and that's cool. And then there's I have a tripping song about taking acid and mushrooms in the desert called Desert Dance, about, when you get so high and you're in the desert, you remember that you were under the ocean once, and there was actually a whale flying, It's like one of those kind of tunes. So the trippy song, and then I have another song called Surfing in Sri Lanka, and it's basically a classic 60s surf tune. This friend of mine goes surfing. She's kind of a crazy person, and she went surfing in Sri Lanka. And I thought, who in the hell goes surfing in Sri Lanka? Except all my Aussie friends. I have friends from Australia, so they go, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Okay. So anyway, I got that song. So I got a surf punk song, and then I have the healing songs. I wrote a song for paramedics and first responders, and it's called "Don't Be Afraid, I'm Your Neighbor." So it's a story about a guy who goes to a party, and he's all messed up, goes into a crash, thinks he's going to die, and he looks up from the crash, and lo and behold, it's the guy who lives across the street, and he happens to be a paramedic. And he goes, hey, man, how you doing? Don't be afraid, man. We'll take care of you. And he's like, how did this happen? So it's a song about that tribute. And the other feel-good song is a Food for Feet song that I'm going to try to get as many people I can know to sing like one of those songs for a purpose. It's called Cross Culture. You can find it on YouTube, Food for Feet Cross Culture, and it's a beautiful song about, it's a cross culture, and we're all looking for the magic. It's a cross culture, and it's happening every day. It's one of those, it's an African song.
Oh, cool.
Think the time is over, beauty come to pass. It's a great song. It's a cross culture. Looking for, there you go.
There it is.
It's an African song.
That's cool. That's a cool rhythm.
John playing that same bass part. I get permission to play this, so that's me.
All right. We got permission, YouTube.
So I'm re-recording this, and then there's there's a couple other ones. There's a man dancing song, once again with a war theme. A man asking another man to dance. Woody, we got boots, we got guns. We just kicked everyone's ass. You want to dance? So anyway, a little bit of comedy there, and then for the jazz aspect, I have an avant-garde jazz guitar piece that that should be fun.
You play other instruments as well?
Yeah, I play guitar, and I just just enough to write, just enough to pervert songs.
Yeah.
And then
Do you have a label for this yet? Or
no,
really?
No.
Yeah, we should talk.
Yeah,
It's got to come out.
Yeah.
Where are you recording it at? You have a home studio?
I'm just recording it. Yeah. Well, Mike, our guitar player, has a home studio.
Oh, cool.
John has a home studio. So I'm kind of doing it home studio to home studio.
Cool. If you ever need record, I'll record you, man. If you ever want to throw down a track.
Cool, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that baby.
Still doing analog. So I have a lot of analog. We can do digital too, but we kind of, nowadays it's like a hybrid.
Yeah.
And what I'll do now is mainly I'll start record digital because it's easier to just let it roll and then hit the tape.
Yeah, wait it.
Fly it back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing lately. And like a lot of the younger bands are really into the analog sound.
Sure.
And the tape. This used to be
editing. But you remember editing back in the day with the razor blades, it's just
No,
I did an album with Paul Butterfield, and Garth brought in the original engineer that did all the stuff for the band, and so. The way they did it, we would just play a track. Oh, that was really great. And they go, well, but had a couple of funny notes. Don't worry, he'll take care of it. So he's got the 24 track, and he's got the record light, and he's erasing notes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm like, wait a minute, he'll do a cut in right now.
Oh,
just like
that was an art. That was
on the fly.
Yeah, that was an art. There's not a lot of people that know how to do that anymore.
All
those guys are gone.
Yeah.
But that was a lost art for sure. And you're doing it, I'm assuming, digital, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that much easier.
Yeah, because there's no revenue to be made, there's no...
Yeah.
There's not... It's only per chance if you could sell it to be placed in a movie or be used in a commercial or...
Yeah.
Something like that, something where it's going to have some worth. No one's going to... unless all of a sudden I get all these shows, get this together, pull a show, and people want me to start getting up and singing, but I don't know that's going to happen right now. I'm just trying to, I don't know if I can stay awake that long. It's like
do you have on a personal note? Do you have kids?
Yes.
How many do you have?
I have 3.
Oh, okay.
My oldest daughter, Rio, from my first marriage. She's an incredible human being. She's got her master's. She reads scripts for a living.
Oh, cool.
She works management and stuff like that in theater.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, Larissa, she lives in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. She's working on her degree. We have 2 grandkids, and her husband's in the Marines.
Oh, that's cool.
So she got to live in Germany for about 3 years, so that was really fun. She knows all about everything I've told her about Germany. She goes, Dad, you're so right. It's so beautiful there. It's so cool. And then my son, Freddie, who's a great musician, always working.
Oh, that's cool.
Plays upright bass.
Oh, cool.
Studied with the guys from the LA Philharmonic, and he plays with the Boingo band when John can't play.
Oh, cool. You get to jam with your son.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, what a life.
Yeah, so far so good. You don't know. You just got to keep moving because nobody cares.
That's true.
nobody cares but you.
That's true, actually. Especially these times we're living in too are just like, oh my God.
You know how to get out of the music business? Don't show up. Just like, I can't make it anymore, man. I can't do it.
No, you're right, man. So I want to see. You think you're going to perform those new songs at any point?
Oh yeah, sure.
That would be cool to see.
I'm already planning on it.
Okay, good.
Probably after November. I'm gonna do a show.
Are you going to release them like singles or as a whole album?
I don't know. It depends. Once again, it depends on how they come out. It's just taking. I'm not sitting around doing a project like you would normally do it. Start at 12 and go to 12 at night. I just kind of get 2 or 3 hours here or 2 or 3 hours there.
I think it's better nowadays. Like most of the bands, they'll do like singles.
Right.
And then if there's demand, especially the newer bands, so they'll have constant content coming out throughout the year. So
Right.
like every 3 months, another single. And then once they collect them, I actually just had a band do this. Once they had enough for an album, then they just put it out on vinyl, those years worth of songs. There's different ways of looking at it, but I think nowadays people's attention spans are shorter.
Yeah, that's something we can talk about when we go to lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so true. I'm like, I understand the attention span and when to talk about the shows, but then again, I don't.
You mentioned LSD, but you were never really a big druggie, were you? Or into drugs or
Oh, yeah, well, everybody dabbles, you can't say you haven't tried.
Right.
No, I didn't. Let's see. Okay, I didn't smoke my first joint till I was 23, and then did my first line when I was about 24.
When it was good?
When it was good back then, and then, you just do it after a while you go, this ain't going to work.
Yeah. Did Boingo, some bands all do a drug? Was that ever?
No. In fact, in Boingo, everybody was really straight.
Yeah, I get that.
Everyone was really straight. Yeah. It wasn't. In fact, till John Avila joined the band, I never could go with. I couldn't look at anybody in the band. Let's go have a drink. Let's go have a beer.
Wow.
The first night after John's first concert, he goes, "Yeah, that was great, man. Come on, man, let's go have a drink." And Danny and Steve look at each other like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? There's 2 Mexicans now. What are we gonna do? He's gonna go with them. Let's go." So they went. So we went. So we went, and that was the only time we had a drink after the first show. But no, I was, I dabbled in the 80s, but that was.
Yeah.
After a while, it's just you can't do that.
Yeah, no.
I still smoke pot though. I sure do.
Yeah. How do you like it being legal now?
Oh, it's so great. It's so absolutely great.
I was telling Joey that I kind of miss sneaking around a little bit.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to do that. But
well, just do it out in the corner, and then you feel bad when a car goes by. You kind of hide. You go, "Hey, man." Even my wife goes, "Make it look like a cigarette." No, I want to make it look like a joint.
Yeah. Didn't you guys? Were you in a movie too with Rodney Dangerfield?
Yes.
That was Back to School, was it? Oh, is this it?
That was it. Yeah.
Look at Rodney. Oh yeah, this is cool. I forgot about this.
Yeah, so Rodney.
Did you get to hang with Rodney?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite comedians.
No, he was hilarious. We went to go see him too, and he walks up to me. He goes, "What do you do?" I go, "I'm the drummer." He goes, "Oh, you're the drummer." See, all the chicks and half us guys go for the drummer. and I look at John Avila. I go, Did Rodney just hit on me? And John goes, "I think he did." I said, "All right. That's pretty wild."
I heard Kurt Vonnegut was on set at this movie. Did you run into him?
No, I did not run into him, but that was good. That was a great when he pulls out of the line.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. That was a fun time. And see those chicks there?
Yeah.
The one of the Greens is singer, and I'm around town at that time. Mm-hmm. But the other 2 girls were like these hot chicks, and of course they started flirting with us. We're in the band. "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Great. And so I'm like schmoozing. "Hey, that's beautiful. You gotta." They had a little ounce of gold, but medallion says 1 ounce, right, around her neck. I go, "Whoa, nice little medallion there. Would you use that to cut coke?" He goes, "No, you can't cut coke with this." I said, "Well, that's pretty nice you got." He goes, "That's not that nice. My boyfriend's a diamond dealer. He goes to South Africa on a big deal and gives me this little ounce of gold to put around my neck. What an asshole. I broke up with him." And then she goes, "We're going to Hawaii. Do you want to meet us there? We're going to be there doing whatever we're doing, and then we'll be free. You want to meet us there?" No.
Oh.
No, I don't want to meet you there.
You've been married a long time then, right?
Yeah, I've been married over 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And what was the other one? Kelly LeBrock.
Oh yeah,
Kelly LeBrock, man. I had the. Whew.
Weird Science.
She was hot, and so we're doing the video with her, and a friend of mine who went to San Gabriel High School was doing the makeup. He was the makeup artist, and he goes, "John, come on in," and I go, "Okay," and he's sitting just like you are, right there. She's right there, and he's doing her makeup. And she backs up, she bends over, and she puts her ass right in my face, and starts and I'm like, oh my God, oh man, and he's going, yeah, she's pretty, and he's gay, so he's like, well, she's really pretty. So she starts flirting with me, and she goes, hey, you want to go for a ride in my new car? I said, what do you got? She goes, brought a brand new Porsche. And I'm thinking. Okay, you go talk to her, our Laura, our manager, and if she says I can leave, then I'll go with you. She goes, okay. So she walks up to Laura, the road manager, goes, can I borrow him? She goes, yeah, sure, you can take him. So she gets me in her car in this Porsche, and she's like driving like a maniac through Hollywood. Yeah, doing speeding up to 50 up to the next signal, Yeah. And she goes, isn't it great? She goes, you want to drive it? I go, no, I don't want to drive it.
I want to drive you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And so, sure enough, we went back, and I wanted to hit on her, but at the time, I was just getting together with my second wife.
Oh, okay. How many?
That was a waste of time. Yeah, well, that's a long story. The third one didn't count. The second one didn't count.
You had a pass on that one.
That's right.
Any other girlfriends of note you had?
Girlfriends of note?
From being in the band?
Oh, no.
I mean, that's partly why we're in bands, right?
Oh, that's totally why we're in bands. I talk to all these guys, and I go, just... Once again, once you realize, once you're enough of a male misogynist pig that you are, and you're only going to go out with certain women. You've already typecast everyone. Once you're as bad as I am, and go, I'm not going out with you. I'm not going out with you, but I'm going out with you, and I'm going out with you. Right? Once you kind of reach that, you're like. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. What do you think of Danny's new music? Do you listen to his new stuff? He got really. I mean, he was already a dark fellow in his writing.
I love
this. Is really cool. Yeah.
This is the one I had an African 6/8 version of this. I wanted to record.
Oh, that would be cool.
With percussion, all that, but.
Are you doing all the xylophone stuff on that? On
no.
those records? Have you had a one player who was doing most of that stuff?
Well, most of it's sequence stuff.
Oh, really?
In the early days, back in the Mystic Knights days, we had a ballophone orchestra. Mm. So Steve and I would sit next to one of those xylophones, African xylophone like this, mm-hmm. 2 people on each one. Then there was a Balinese orchestra with tubular bells, and the way you play those, if you see music from Bali, they hit a note and it goes bing, and as they go to the next note, bing, 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 they have to bing and stop the ring of the last note they hit, then hit this note, so they're constantly following their hands. Mm. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we had that's what we played. So when we became a band and digital performer, we could sequence all that stuff.
Yeah,
we didn't have any
dragging that around.
Yeah, we're not going to drag all that stuff around anymore.
Do you have a favorite album or era for the band?
No. It was just it was always exciting. It was always different.
Yeah.
And Danny's new stuff is my comment about that is that, and I told him this, is that the demos, he posted the demos on Instagram. If you ever want to hear what they really sound like, listen to the demos.
Okay.
And you'll hear to me, what I heard on every demo I ever got from Danny when he would make a demo, it was really him. It was really raw, and it was just something about it. And what happens is when you add 1 or 2 or 3 more voices to anything, it always changes it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we would have discussions with Danny. You know, Dead Man's Party didn't turn out the way Danny wanted it to. You know, he had this vision of a big African kind of, just an amazing whole other thing, but we couldn't pull it off, you know. So we were frustrated with it, and we ended up, we had to all face the reality. Well, we're not that, we're this. And so that's what you always have to remind yourself when you're an artist and you're writing a song. You have to, when you're reaching for something and you can't quite get it, maybe that's not you.
Yeah.
So you just have to realize that no one has had that inspiration in their entire life. No one's heard it before. So just put it out there and
don't hang on to it, make it too
don't
precious.
hang on to it. But you know, I mean, when you have unlimited funds and the artwork and everything that Danny has, and you know, if you're a multimillionaire, you can have all kinds of bizarre, incredible crap like that. And it's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
you know,
really is.
And you know, he's an artist. He's talented, and the only thing I'm glad for him, because I still consider him my friend, is that I was glad when he just stopped just sitting in a studio and came out, and he's a performer. You know. Oh, they even you know, I'm waiting for him to show up naked and wearing tattoos. You know. There's all kinds. You've seen the chicks like that. Look at that. She's totally naked. You can't even tell because he's all tatted out.
Yeah, his look definitely changed. He's ripped too. Like he must work out a lot.
Yeah, well, he gave up sugar. Gave up sugar, and that, you know, there's all kinds of things you can do that'll extremely change your life. Diets, and like not eating sugar, not eating. There's a lot of oils we shouldn't be using. You know, there's so many impurities in oils. All that kind of stuff. So because I talked to him about. Mentioned it.
It was really cool. He was doing those, performing the movie music. Those were really cool shows. People love that with the
I do. I
the
love
screens
it.
and the whole orchestra. That's so cool.
Yeah, I love it. No, I'm a big fan of his, but you know, I don't follow him.
Yeah, you think you guys ever play together again?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
No, that don't ring a bell to me.
It would be cool.
Yeah, it might be.
You guys are all playing because everyone's can't do it.
Everyone's playing. Yeah, I know. But it's, you know, if one guy doesn't want to play, wants to hold on to his ball, then you didn't have to.
That's true.
We're old enough to go, so?
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to play. Well, I don't want to be there. So? Going to stop us from playing?
Yeah. Well, man, thank you for talking. Is there anything else you want to bring up or talk about before we wrap it up? Eat some tamales?
I want to ask a question.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. You have a lot of like really unique drum. You do a lot of really unique drum playing. Right? Did you develop that with the band, or did you already come into the band?
Well, you know, that's a really good question because. I'm really, I learned to play the instrument first. I had one of the best teachers ever. And like I said, everything from rudiments to legit music to all kinds of drumming things. And because Danny's such an incredible writer, you know, we would learn all these songs and they would require different setups and different things and different voices. So usually each show I'd have to put together a set with all kinds of different voices. And whenever we did each one of our tracks, for the most part, has a different set of cymbals and a different snare drum, or varying bass drums all over because each song has its own voice. And if you have the budget, which guys don't have anymore. Now it's like, bring a set of drums in, put them up, mic them, and there you go. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
But now, you can test the room, you can listen to it. How much time do you want to spend? Maybe we took a day to get a drum sound. Yeah. A whole day? Yeah, Sunset Sound. We had a day and a half. We're still tweaking it.
Yeah, those are the days.
Yeah, those are. It took time. So, yeah, I'm so lucky. I have so many incredible voices: fiberglass drums, wooden drums, different sizes, metals, bangs, dings, bang, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it's a day-to-day, moment-to-moment. Tomorrow could be a completely different kind of situation. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, that's a good question, Mario. I knew there's a reason why you're here.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about October, was it 20th? Is that like Boingo Day you were telling me?
Oh, it was, it's actually April 20th.
April 20th.
April 20th, 420, Hitler's birthday. Also, let's see, it's going to be Easter, and also it's the day, the Armenian Genocide Day. Wow. It's 420. It's a pretty heavy date, but it's Oingo Boingo Day LA. So cool. I don't know. I'm gonna. Okay, Oingo Boingo former members tribe. I'm gonna be getting a hold of you on Facebook, and we're gonna have to do something. Maybe have a big Zoom meeting. And all moon each other. Oh, that would be funny. Moon over. Oh man, we could get arrested for that. Moon over Easter. Okay, I got a good story. Moon over Easter. I went to a party with my oldest daughter, and she had all her actors and actors friends there. And I walk in the doorway, clipped on, they had Polaroids of everyone's ass, and it's like. And all of a sudden, the girl goes, "Okay, pull your pants down. We're going to take a picture of your ass." And my daughter goes, "That's my dad. You don't have to do that." And I go, "No, that's fine." And I moved her. And so it went up there.
You got the Vato butt.
The Vato butt. Anyway, there you go. That's a goofy story.
Well, thank you, Johnny, man.
Thank you.
It's really cool getting to know you and meet you. I know we've always knew you around town, but I never got to meet you till recently.
Great.
Thanks to Joe and Len.
Yeah, they're my buds.
Yeah. So yeah, he's. Are you going to do any of the? Are you planning on any of the jam nights?
Sure, I'll be the next one.
The next one?
Yeah.
So that's April 23rd. It's the last Thursday of the month at JD's in Alhambra, which has been there. That place has been there since the 40s.
Oh, yeah.
An old bar, and they have a great kitchen there, too.
Okay, another side story. My uncle owned the West End Barber Shop right next door to it there for years. So if you ever got your hair cut there growing up, that was my uncle's barber shop.
What high school did you go to?
San Gabriel and Mission.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's cool, man.
Cool.
All right, well, thank you, Johnny.
All right, thank you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. That was cool. Well, what is it? Oh, you guys got the
This is Chatter.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Rick Collins.